Really, Tyler? Really? Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to KRS TV. This is your boy Kenny, and this is If Loving You Is Wrong, Season 5, Episode 8. This is the mid-season finale, and the name of this episode is Jennifer. Now, before I get into this review, I would like to give my love and condolences to a pioneer that we just lost a few days ago. I'm talking about John Singleton. He was not only a pioneer as far as black cinema, but he was a pioneer as far as Hollywood, because Boys in the Hood changed the game, in Hollywood, and it is, a classic that has paved the way for so many, black artists as well as black directors. Because if it wasn't for John Singleton, we wouldn't have directors like Tyler Perry, Ava DuVernay, Jordan Peele, Ryan Coogler, Barry Jenkins, so many, that literally owe their platform to what John Singleton did. Because, John Singleton was the youngest as well as the first African American to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Director. So with Boys in the Hood, he changed the game, and we are all forever grateful for his contribution to black excellence as well as to the arts. So rest in peace, John Singleton. We will cherish your memory. We will cherish your memory, and you will never be forgotten. Now let me begin with this review here, because I am not gonna lie, I was kind of let down a little bit because I wanted to know who the damn baby daddy of this baby is. We have been talking about this baby since season 1 of who is the actual father of this kid, and I just think it's starting to go into a different direction. But for me, I'm like, I want to know. So let me begin. So the episode picked up where it left off, where Ian is about to put it on Alex. Alex immediately resists him and tells him, like, get out of my house. He's like, I thought that was what you wanted. She's like, no, that's not what I want to get out of my house. And he was like, Jennifer. And she's like, my name is Alex. And he's like, look, Jennifer, Alex, whatever your name is, you really don't remember me? I got text messages. We met. And he says, if I knew you was married, I wouldn't have said anything, because I was married too. So I'm like, oh, so you and Alice are a lot alike. Y'all married people who like to go around here and screwing other people, when you're supposed to be, betrothed to the person that you married to. Interesting. Like-mindedness there. And then he said that, we had met at the Maxine Hotel for brunch and all of this. So I'm like, this is interesting. The fact that Alex doesn't remember all of this, I am really starting to feel that Alex actually has a mental condition. It's possible that she's either bipolar or schizophrenic. It's definitely out there. And, and then he said that when I first met you, you were so nervous and timid, looking over your shoulder, and you told me about a bad breakup you had, and then you told me that your name was Jennifer. And I'm thinking, bing, I probably remember when this went down. When she was kind of being standoffish to Randall, and then Randall came over there with Marcy and was kind of rubbing it in Alex's face and was making her feel uneasy. That probably led her to Ian's ass. And because I remember that shit, because Randall with his little evil, psychotic ass was intentionally trying to get a rise out of her. And obviously, she decided to go somewhere and get a ride somewhere else. So, interesting. But she pretty much tells him to get out of her house, and he says that, look, I'll take the divorce papers and I'll look them over and I'll bring them back. And she's like, well, look, you just call me. You don't need to come back over here. So Alex was kind of standoffish about that, but he said that he would look over her divorce papers and get back to her. Then you get a scene with Eddie and Lucien down at the station. This damn Eddie tried to come up in there with a latte, trying to smooth over with Lucien, and Lucien's like, you really think I'm gonna drink that shit? Seriously? He's like, come on, man. I'm trying to be nice and you always thinking I'm doing something evil. And he said that, and then Lucien was like, that's because you don't know how to be nice. You're always trying to raise hell, which is true. And then he goes in and starts saying that, look, we already know who's who. I know you FBI, you know I'm working with the DEA, you know, and I feel that you guys are holding information from us, you know, so we should just share info with each other. And he's like, okay, Eddie, you go first. And then all of a sudden, he starts kind of dancing, and then like Lucian's like, you know what? Cut the bullshit. What do you really want to know? What's going on? And then, Eddie starts talking about Andrew, and he says that the one thing that sticks out to me was that when Andrew went missing, you was constantly asking me about where's Andrew, where's Andrew, where's Andrew, and then all of a sudden, it stopped. And I know you, Lucien, you never give up on anything. So, what's going on with that? And the funny thing about it, in this conversation, Lucien did not let up at all. He kept a straight face. He was like, well, I don't know what's going on. He's like, you gotta know something. I know you did something with this. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, Eddie. Like, he just kept a straight face and did not break at all. And then he's like, but let me ask you something, Eddie. Are you worried about something? He was like, no, I'm never worried about anything. He's like, okay. So if you're not worried, then I guess there's nothing more to be said. And I was so here for Lucien doing that. I'm like, you better play it up, Lucien. Don't let because Eddie think he's so slick and he think he can pull that shit on everybody. He know damn well with Lucien hates his guts pretty much, as a lot of us do. And then he was saying that, look, here it is. I'm trying, and then Eddie's, going on this bullshit, talking about like, well, here it is. I'm trying to extend an olive branch, and you still want to take me out. And then Lucien said, with everything inside of me. I'm like, I know that's right, Lucien. He like, Eddie's ass gotta go somewhere. He be doing too much. So then, while Eddie's walking out, he just bumps the shit out of Rick. And I'm like, you disrespectful motherfucker. And then Rick comes in like, I hate that guy. He says, shoot, join the club. We all hate his ass. But Rick comes in with some information. He went back to Margaret, the lady from Calvary, who's also a chaplain at the jail. She gave him a list of girls who were stalked by Travis. And the problem is that they're afraid to talk. And he was like, and then like Rick was like, I want to go tell Kelly. He was like, nah, don't tell her too much. And he was like, okay, cool. So after that, Lucien calls Ian, about that information. And I'm like, this is going to really be some shit. So he tells Ian about the whole file and everything. And pretty much he says that, and pretty much he said that Rick sent over, a file with 9 women. And according to the records, it said the church settled, But then, Ian is saying, this is too close. This is too close. And I'm just like, why are you getting so damn defensive, Ian? But later on, we find out why. And then all of a sudden, while they're talking about this, damn Ian starts asking questions about Alex. Is she the type of woman that would step out on her husband? And I'm like, are you serious, bruh? Like, you will not let this shit up. Because Ian is an attorney that kind of is the same way as Larry. Like, they will not let up until they get to the bottom of it. Ian obviously ain't gonna let this shit go. So, but then, Lucien is like, well, she's getting a divorce. What? Why you want to know? Is she available? He's like, no, I just want to know. And he's like, why? And then he just tells him, like, look, call the lawyer and let's set this thing up. So we see that Ian calls Carl. That's the public defender that we saw last season that was there to represent Kelly. But Kelly fired him. But he pretty much says that, look, I need you to do this thing with, in regards to Kelly's case. And he tells him, don't tell a soul. So I'm thinking it's a possibility that he is trying to do the right thing and get Kelly out of jail. But then again, you're pretty much devil's advocate because you're still aligned with the actual operation that's trying to take her down. So then we get a scene with Rick and Kelly. Rick comes over there, up in there flirting with snacks and shit, gives her some pudding, and he's like, if you want some more pudding, I'm always around the corner, I got you. And he pretty much tells her that, we got it, we got other women, but the problem is they're afraid to talk. But Lucien is going to be talking with a lawyer, and the lawyer's going to be talking to the DA. We're working on it, we got something going for you. And then he starts saying that, I'm happy you don't hate me. And she was like, why would I hate you? He said, because I should have known this sooner. I'm an officer, I should have known. And she says that, look, I was sleeping with the fool, I should have known. I'm like, it's good that you own your shit, Kelly. Like, that's cute. And we can definitely tell that the two of them, we can definitely see that Rick is definitely flirting with her. And, all I'm saying in regards to this situation, Rick, you better be careful, because Kelly's toxic. And I say that because every man that has dealt with her ass ends up in jail or dead. Her baby father's still in jail over some shit she did. Ramsey got killed, by Travis on the account of her. And then she killed Travis because Travis was stalking her. And now we find out he was stalking other women the exact same way. So this fool was pretty much like a serial stalker, like a serious threat. And here it is, his family's been backing his ass up. So I'm really starting to look at this church like this church is something else. Like, this ain't no God whatsoever with this church. These are people with money who literally are running a kind of operation where they have mainstream control. They have like a cult-like theme to what they're doing, where they make all their believers literally kiss the ring, and they have to go along with everything they're doing. I mean, I was getting Jim Jones teased throughout this whole thing about this damn Calvary church, because this shit is messy as hell. So then we see that Alex is on her way to the hospital. She gets a call from Dr. Ralston to tells her to be on time. This is my life, and you ain't gonna fuck my shit up. And then she gets a call from Brad. Brad is saying that he'll be over later for her to sign the divorce papers, and then pretty much she tells him that the baby isn't Randall's, and I think it could be, and it's like, if it's not Randall's, then it's got to be yours. And he was like, no way, ain't no way in hell that baby mine. And then she was like, but schemes, I've been doing some research that genes can skip a generation and all that. And he says that, first of all, there is no one in my family with that ethnicity. I'm like, oh, what you trying to say, Brad? Huh? I mean, seriously, let's be real. Some people will be surprised if you shake your family tree who falls out of it. But far as him, he knows that he ain't got no black in his family. But then again, what about Alex? Because I'm saying it could come from either side. And he pretty much is like, have you lost your mind or something? I'm like, possibly. I think she's been off her rocker the whole time, and you just been completely naive to it. So after he gets off the phone, we see that Marcy had came in the room with Brad while he was talking to Alex. He just hangs up on Alex's ass, and then he tells Marcy that that Randall is not the father of the baby. So then then after she gets off the phone with Brad, Ian knocks on the door, and he said that, look, I was drunk last night, I apologize, I will never act like that again. So he presents her the divorce papers, and he says that, look, far as it looks, he's getting majority of everything, but you pretty much got the house, you get 50% of his income, and you will share joint custody of the kids. And then he points out that he only is going to pay child support for 2 of the kids, but if you want, we can press this because he should be paying for all 3. And she's like, oh, no, I'll set the terms for what they are. I'm like, yeah, because she don't know who the father of that baby is. And I'm like, damn, girl, you've been spreading it wide so much, you don't even know who your baby daddy is. This is crazy. And of course, this is definitely going in the back of Ian's head, because he's like wondering, girl, what the hell is really going on? Why is it that your husband's only going to support 2 of the kids and not the newborn that you just had? You know, so now he's kind of opening questions, because in his mind, he know that he done had an encounter with Jennifer. And I'm definitely going to get to that. But it's like now Ian is kind of putting things together, like, something ain't sitting right here with me. Alright, so we got that going on. Then we get a scene where Natalie is outside checking the mail, and Bennett pulls up, and she tells Bennett about Randall looking at his house with binoculars, and that, you know, and that, you know, you maybe need to close your curtains. And he was like, well, I can't do that because she likes the light. But all of a sudden, I started to see this change in Bennett's face, and I'm like, yo, Bennett is on some other shit, y'all. Because all of a sudden, he just got, I mean, because he has like a very jovial persona about him, you know, when he interacts with them. But all of a sudden now, you're starting to see like this dark, sinister look come over his face. And she was like, well, I can tell Lucien about it, and he can try to talk to Randall. And he was like, oh no, it's okay. I'll talk to him. I can be pretty convincing. And, you know, they pretty much part ways. He goes in, you know, in his house, and Tanya is painting a portrait. And the damn girl is painting a portrait of Randall being naked at the window. And then all of a sudden he's looking at this thing, and she's completely out of her mind. She's like, this thing came to me in a dream. Don't you like it? And he's like, it's beautiful. And we can see Bennett's face. Bennett looks like he's about to really he's about to go on a killing spree, because his face and his whole apparatus just changed, because now he's seeing that son of a bitch appeared naked in front of his wife. And I don't blame Bennett. You know, so pretty much she said that, he asks Tanya, did this really happen? And she was like, no, of course not. And he's like, well, why is he naked? He just is. I'm like, oh, this bitch ain't take her medicine. And then she's like, but you can go ahead, honey. I made dinner. And he's like, okay. But it's like, but give me a second. I got to get something from my car. So what he does is that he grabs spray paint from her painting kit, goes over across the street to Randall's house, bangs on the door. No one's there because, you know, Randall's on his way to the hearing, to the board meeting at the hospital. So what this fool proceeds to do, he goes to the backyard, kicks in the back door, and he demolishes the entire house. He's cutting up art paintings, and he's, you know, breaking tables and lamps and using a baseball bat to beat shit down. Like, he fucked the whole house up. Then, you know, while he's doing it, he's all, ah! I was like, oh, damn. So Tanya ain't the only crazy motherfucker in the house. She's schizophrenic, and your ass obviously got anger issues. So both of them crazy, you know. So all this time we thought that Bennett was the same one. No, Bennett is just as crazy as his wife. It's just that it comes out in a different way, because he went over there, fucked Randall's house up, then takes the red spray paint and paints like bitch. And then he started putting it in, and I was like, oh, wait now, motherfucker, what you about to say? I'm not gonna lie, I definitely had to ask him, like, what the fuck you about to say? And he pretty much, what it says is that, bitch, next time I will burn this down. Then goes upstairs and starts fucking up more shit. Ah! I was like, damn, Bennett was pissed. And I don't blame Bennett, and it just goes to show that Randall got his karma with that situation. Because you had no business trying to push yourself onto his wife. But we know that, you know, what we learned from last episode, Randall likes to gaslight people. He likes to go after people who are mentally ill, which explains why he went after Marcy, why he went after Alex, and why he's trying to go after Tanya. So it's evident all three of these women are mentally ill in some fashion. So then we get the scene where, you know, we're at the meeting with the board of directors at the hospital. Dr. Roston and Alex are there. Alex tells them that she lied, and that, you know, about Dr. Roston switching the DNA. and she didn't switch the DNA, but I lied to get out of a situation, and I was wrong for that. And they asked her, are you willing to testify this in court? And she says yes. And Dr. Roston proved that she signed the affidavit as well. So they said, great, so now let's bring in Mr. Holmes, being Randall. And immediately Alice starts panicking, like, what? Like, he's here? I don't want him here. And she's like, boo-boo, he needed to be here because this involved him, so he had to be present. And that damn Randall, aka Psycho Betty, came up in there all confident, feeling his shit. Here's my lawyer, Larry. And literally came in there going at Dr. Roston. It's like, yeah, I'ma fire this bitch for all the hell you caused me. I'm like, boo-boo, you about to get your feelings hurt, because we come to find out last week, because it was already in the air that Randall's soldiers weren't marching as to war, and that he was a blank shooter shooting in the wrong direction. Yeah. So he's sitting down feeling himself, and all of a sudden the head of the board says that the board has decided that Dr. Roston didn't do anything inappropriate. Then obviously it's like, well, who changed the test? He said nobody. The test wasn't changed. It wasn't switched at all. And then, like, of course, he's kind of looking like he's not aware of this. I'm like, no, because Alice didn't say shit. And Alice was literally sitting there not saying anything. And both Dr. Roston's like, Alex? Seriously? Like, you caused this shit, so you now gotta deal with it. So Dr. Roston decided to take over and was like, look, Mr. Holmes, we had 3 remaining samples of the DNA, and nobody switched the DNA. We retested it. You are not the you are not the father. Like, yeah. And pretty much she tells him that, look, if you disagree with this, you can actually you and the child can go to your own medical facility, and you can get the test redone. And then he's all talking about something, I'm suing this place. You guys are really trying to you guys are really trying to pull my leg. I know I'm that kid's father. There's no way anybody else could be this kid's father, and all of that. And then all of a sudden Larry asks Dr. Roston, can I see that? He looks at the results and he was like, so what do you got, Larry? He's like, well, Randall, I hate to tell you this, but these tests are legit, and this hospital has a great reputation, and they wouldn't just be doing no bogus shit. So from the looks of it, you're not the father of this baby, Randall. And then all of a sudden he turned it on to Alice too. He says, so what you got to say about this, Alex? And then everybody looking at her, and then Randall just got this sinister look in his face. And then all of a sudden Alice was like, I guess he's not your baby. I was like, damn, bitch, you was cold as hell with it. And then the next thing you know, Randall just unravels, and he's like, so you did cheat on me. You would do this to me? You would do this to me? That's my son. That's my kid. And then he started doing this. I was like, oh, damn. Yo, Elton E. Williams is playing the fuck out of this character. But I'm like, if y'all motherfuckers don't put Psycho Betty in a straitjacket, I'm gonna beat everybody's ass on this show, because I'm so over it. Like, this man is obviously crazy as shit. And my main person I want to fuck up is Larry, because Larry, this is your boo. You in love with his ass. Control your bitch. Control the bitch. You done got this boy out here acting all kind of crazy. He got a nerve to call Natalie ghetto, but he can't even be professional in a public setting or in a professional meeting. You wilding out acting all kind of crazy. I was like, wow, that was some crazy shit right there, but I was so here for it though. So after that, we see that Larry gets a call from Esperanza, and she says she's been trying to reach him and that she wants to get the papers filed. And she says, so when will they be sent to him? And he said, today. It's real easy. I'll make this real easy for you. Because he don't like Eddie's ass, and he got something even bigger in store for Eddie. And we definitely see that she's like, well, can I wait until I actually get there and I can, we can like wait to send him to papers and all that. So it's plainly obvious she's afraid of what Eddie's gonna do when she does this. And he's kind of like, why are you dragging your feet? But then Stevens comes in, so she gets off the phone with Larry and talks to Stevens. And she tells Stevens that, look, I didn't want to talk to you at the station. Bitch, that's not the reason why. That may have been one of the reasons, but you ain't like the fact that Stevens was asking you questions and you were afraid to answer him because you were afraid of the fact that it was going to expose the fact that you're afraid of Eddie. And in this conversation, that's when it finally happened. And she's saying that, what I'm about to do is about to ruin Eddie. I want to know if I can trust you. And she says, of course. And he's like, of course, I got you. And she says that, well, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take full custody of our daughter, and I'm going to put a restraining order against him. And he's pretty much like, so what's going on? You afraid of him or something? And she's like, but after I do this, he's going to lose his job, and that's all he has. And she's like, and, Stevens is kind of looking at her like, girl, are you crazy? This man is horrible. And you shouldn't even be worrying about that. You should be worrying about your own safety and the safety of your daughter. Not this fool. But then she's like, can I count on you? And she's like, you're scared of him, aren't you? And she's like, maybe a little. I'm like, bitch, you're scared of him a lot because you would have not allowed this fool to do all the shit he has done to you if you weren't in fear. But then she also admits that he's never hit her. But he's like, no, I would never allow that. Yeah, seriously? I don't think he has either, because he probably would have been whooped her ass by now. But he's definitely threatened her and she backs down. So she's in a way, she's definitely afraid of Eddie. And then all of a sudden when he hugs her, she's like, oh my God, you're shaking so bad. I'm like, yeah, because she's fucking scared. And so now we realize that was one of the main reasons why she's been covering Eddie's mess and why she's letting Eddie be the monster that he is, because she's afraid of the monster. So that was an interesting scene. So then we see that Randall returns home, and we see that Bennett is watching from his window, and he's like, I'm gonna see how old boy gonna react. So while he gets out the car, Randall gets a call from Marcy, and Marcy is just goofing and geeking over the phone like, oh, I heard that's not your baby. So I guess you can't have a kid either. Yeah, because of his low income, he can't create a kid. So, yeah, catch that. But then she was like, so who else was this whore sleeping with, huh? This is really sad because you still gotta live next door to that bitch. I was like, Marcy was fucking with him bad. And then he kind of gets off the phone with her, calls her an evil bitch and all that. She's like, oh no, boo-boo, you're the evil one. You're the devil. I'm like, and I completely agree. Randall is evil as shit. But all of a sudden he goes in that house and he flips the fuck out. He sees his home spray painted, everything broken up and shit, broken glass everywhere. People pissing on the stairs and they just don't care. And he just starts going like, damn it! And then he's like, ooh, you're done, you evil bitch. You're done, you're done. I'm like, oh, so you think Marcy did this shit? So now this motherfucker about to go over here and blame Marcy for this shit, not realizing that you have fucked with damn near everyone on that block, including the new neighbors. So anybody could have fucked you up. And and it was just crazy. So he flips out, and then we see that Bennett's looking out, and she's like, and then like you hear Tanya like, do you like what I'm doing, honey? He's like, oh yes, I think it's beautiful. I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be something else. So then we see that Ian comes in to meet with Larry. And while he's sitting there, Larry spills the beans about Randall found out that Alice's kid isn't his. So all of a sudden, as I said, Ian got that back of his mind working. He's like, oh really? So now he's kind of putting himself like, okay, I knew around the time I was messing with her and shit, and obviously she was screwing the next door neighbor. He ain't the baby daddy, and I knew her husband is white, so it's a possibility I could be the pappy. And that's probably pretty much what's playing in his head. And he's being very attentive when he's talking about this. But then later on, he tells Larry that, look, we got a problem. Officers are onto the cases that we settled with the girls between the Canes and the church. So they were the ones who settled the cases to keep those girls quiet from speaking against Travis and the church. And pretty much he mentions that Lucien asked me to help her, and he was like, oh, let me get his number. He was like, well, I can't do that because he thinks I'm on his side. And he was like, bruh, I'm letting you know right now, Ian, if you on some bullshit. And he's like, no, it's not like that. We just gotta play it safe. You know, my loyalty is here. And he pretty much lets him know, if you are involved in any way with this, we gonna have a problem. So he pretty much like blatantly threatened Ian that, yeah, you involved in this shit, I'm gonna fuck you up. So we pretty much got the end of that. So it's still kind of up in the air whether, you know, Ian is really trying to set them up, or is he really trying to do the right thing by getting Kelly out of jail. Because there is that moral compass there, but then we definitely see that Ian is messy as shit too. So you can never tell, you know, he moves in shade. So then we get a scene with, you know, Lucien comes in, you know, Kelly tells him about Randall, and Lucien just said it like all of us were saying, like, somebody gonna kill that fool. I'm like, exactly, because he keeps fucking with everybody. Then Ian comes over, and he brings Carl. That was the public defender that was defending Kelly at first. And pretty much, you know, they tell him that they're gonna prep him to go meet with the DA so that they can get Kelly out of jail and get the charges dropped. But Carl is kind of hesitant because he said, like, look, the DA is tough, especially, and we come to find out that the DA's name is Hillmore. So, but they said that, look, you're gonna do it and you're gonna be great at it. We got you. So we see that Ian is gonna coach him to handle this DA so they can get Kelly out of jail. So then after that happened, you know, Brad and Alex come over, you know, for, you know, Nellie to witness them signing the divorce papers. And we see that Alex signs, Natalie signs, and he gives it to the notary. So now it's about to be notarized, so it's about to, you know, be final. And, you know, and then he was like, you know, so now you're free. So then that's what that Brad said. Brad was like, so now you're free, Alex. You can screw anyone you want, Randall, or any guy in the street, and don't ever tell me that that kid is mine ever again. And she says, I think you should take a DNA test. He says, I'm not doing a damn thing. And then we see that Ian is witnessing all this, and Ian is getting mad because he's like really processing all this shit like, oh, this bitch is playing games. So so pretty much you know, Brad ends up leaving. Alex gets very shaken up and emotional, so she leaves because she just ruined her marriage. But personally, I think she's actually got some serious mental issues, because nobody sane would continue to create more and more trouble for herself. So it's obvious that she's got a problem. So we definitely see that Ian is pissed. So when she leaves, Ian is like, I gotta go. And I'm like, oh damn, you just making it obvious that you into Alex. And the funny thing about it, I don't even know if Lucien and Natalie's picked up on it. But all of a sudden, Alex walks down the street, she's crying and everything, and then Ian approaches her and he said that, yo, Alex, how many men was it? And she was like, excuse me, like, how many men were you sleeping with? And she's like, go to hell. And he was like, no, it was you. He says, I checked my old profile, and, you know, yeah, it was you. You told me your name was Jennifer Pepper. And I was like, oh, shit! Are you serious? So we come to find out that, yeah, Ian did tap Alex. Because remember from season 1, Wasn't that the nickname that Randall used to call her up in the shed? Oh, Pepper. Ooh, Pepper. Yeah, Pepper. And now we come to find out that Pepper likes a little salt on her fish. So, yeah. So, it's definitely clear that her and Ian did something. And then he asked the question, is it a possibility that this child could be mine? And that's where it ended. And that's where I was mad, Tyler. Tyler, give us the damn child! Who's the daddy? Come on, man! We've been waiting for the first season, and now we still don't know who the daddy is, but it's still a toss-up between Brad and Ian. Good thing, though, we know that that Randall ain't the baby daddy. Thank God, because Randall is Psycho Betty crazy as cat shit. No children should be around, Psycho Betty whatsoever. So that's a great thing. And as a matter of fact, we come to find out that, he was up here giving Marcy all this hell that she couldn't conceive. And now we realize that no, boo-boo, your ass can't conceive. And it'd be real funny if Brad knock out Marcy and Marcy ends up having a baby. And that would be something. So we just going to see how this all is going to play out. But yeah, Tyler, we need to know who the baby daddy is. Don't make this a whole, we gonna find out the next season that, we still don't know who the father is. We gonna have a problem, Tyler. So yeah, bring this back and let us know who the baby daddy is, because we want to know. We tired. We want to know what's going on with that. But also to let you guys know that the Have and Have Nots returns back on Tuesday, so definitely check that out because I will be reviewing it. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the mid-season premiere of If Loving You Was Wrong. So until next time, everybody, take care.